Hello. Let's get my audio podcast. I'm thinking. So what that means. Oh, okay. My audio version. I have to go through some extra things with Spotify. Okay, I'm not logging in and doing all of that. So I'll do that later. So let's just go through with the video. I don't have time for that. I don't get much support off that anyway. Spotify. This week I had to do taxes, so I haven't been doing many reading videos on my regular days, but I'm here. And the thing about taxes is, with these corporations, you can write off your losses. Because Lord knows, black people ain't getting no support in our corporations. They always tell you start your own business, and it's fine. You do have to, because the jobs are disappearing. And even there's fake job listings that they make us apply for. So, and I have like a housing voucher. So, because I qualify, they give me job listings I have to go to. Anytime you get in anything from social service, you have job listings you have to go to. And I went to one. And a lot of these jobs, you either, well, first to speak about, a lot of these jobs, you have to be fluent in another language, fluent in Spanish, fluent in Bengali. Where I live at in Jamaica, Queens, that's what the languages are. So the African woman across from me, she's from the continent. She's telling me, "Oh, you got to be fluent and fluent." I said, "Well, I did Spanish in college, but it lapsed." And then everything we looked at was like everything. It was youth advocacy, this advocate, that. And I laughed at her at one point. I said, that's very interesting. I said, who advocates for us? She said, well, they expected, one person can speak multiple languages and they would advocate for everybody if they speak English too. Now, you and me both know what happens in those situations. If I'm from somewhere else, I help the people who speak my mother tongue. And especially the Negroes that come after, here, fill this out, go over there. But again, you black people keep wanting to be disinterested in politics and social work. Keep being disinterested, and we'll keep disappearing. Anyway, I was going through the library to get some more books for next week's reading, and I came across these two things. Public library here is excellent. Oh my God, it's excellent. Not only if you're homeless, the library is good to have somewhere to learn and study and grow and create content. But they have so much work, so many books, and I noticed most of my books in the library here, they're downstairs. They're the books that nobody really has read in a long time. They're not in heavy circulation. The books that I bring to you, a lot of them, they have to go downstairs to get them. But I came across these two things, these two inserts. So we're going to read Mary Shaw today because she's an educator, benefactor, activist, 1851 to 1905. Because a lot of times in my community, we've been disinterested in political and social work since the 1970s. It's just been decline. In the 1990s, it became all about money, cream. Cash rules everything around me. I don't really care about justice. Don't care about empathy. Don't care about concepts. All I want to know is what's going to get us paid. And that's why you have things like the Black Lives Matter movement. That wasn't a movement to get no justice for anybody. That was a movement by some educated people with some student loans who said, how are we going to pay ourselves? Because middle class black jobs are gone. Middle class jobs are disappearing, period. Make work jobs are going. They're trying to like create some more in the social service area, but that's all non for profits. You gotta have a non for profit now to get paid like that, and that's what they did. Um, so it's about money, not conceptual thought. That's why we have the mayors we have. That's why we have the governors we have. That's why we have the society we have. There's no group pushing for these major concepts. The Native Americans are pushing for like clean water, natural reality, but it's so few of them. It's like 3 million. And this country's 320, 330 million. So like 1% of the population, and not even all that community is into that. Just they have a strong wing of that community that does activism for soil and water. Black folks, money. I said, you ain't making no money, you got to go. How we gonna make this money? You ain't making enough for me. I need somebody to make more. I gotta level up. I gotta go. You gotta go. Don't matter how many children we got. It don't matter what happens to them. It don't matter if they gotta go from house to house. You got to go. So that's why I go back to the old people, because they were doing things on the ground. Okay. So here's a picture. Okay, let me read the caption. First Flushing Library, 1891, in what it is now known as Kissena and Main. The current and fourth building stands on the same site. So that's that building there. And this is exterior of the Flushing Library from 1912 at the intersection of Main Street and Kissena. It was a Carnegie building, photo credit queensmary.org. So that's the building there. All right. So let's get into this Mary E. Shaw. Okay, first they're doing Flushing history. In 1858, the Flushing Library Associated was founded, and the library opened its doors for service on August 27, 1858. In a room at the corner of the bridge of Prince Streets as a subscription library. During the period 1858 through 1891, the library experienced a variety of changes in location, and during 1884, the library began suffering financial problems. A fundraising effort was begun under the direction of William Elliman, president of the Flushing Library Association. These efforts lasted for 7 years, at which time, in 1891, the library was solvent enough to purchase the old edifice of the First Baptist Church, which was located on the corner of what is now Main and Kissena. This became the first real home of the Flushing Library. The new Flushing Library is the fourth library to stand on the site. How libraries were important. Libraries are important. Mary E. Shaw. Of the many contributors to the Flushing Library, one whose name is often mentioned is Mary E. Shaw, an early benefactor and advocate for a free local library. Of course, she wanted freedom because she was black, and they were advocating for freedom for people, freedom in all things. Miss Shaw was a pioneer educator and the principal of the School for African American Children in Flushing, and the wife of John Shaw, minister of the AME Church. Miss Shaw was very active in the cause of the library. By 1884, the Flushing Library Associated was suffering serious financial difficulty, so much so that closure became a strong possibility. Miss Shaw was one of the citizens who joined the community fundraising effort for the library initiated by the library's board of trustees. If you notice, a lot of things was like African Methodist Episcopal Church. A lot of black people were drawn back to Africa, back to the continent from which they were sold or stolen. And believe me, white people are going to tell you more blacks was sold by other blacks. African people are going to tell you, black people that are Pan-Africans are going to tell you, no, they weren't sold, they were stolen. They were stolen and they were sold. Period. The whole Pan-Africanism thing, everyone has to respect everyone else's position. Black Americans have a different experience than the colonized person on the continent. That doesn't mean that we should hate each other, but that means we have to respect each other's differences. We can't go over there behaving like we behave and think that they're going to respect that. A lot of these black people, this back to Africa thing, you go over there, you think you're going to go. No. And them coming over here telling us we're lazy, that's why we don't have anything, when there were political and social structures that put them in place so they wouldn't have to give it to us, their former slaves. No. Each person's going to have to respect each other's experience. And if they're taking advantage of us by taking those positions, making money, send it back. And if black people with a little bit of money are going over there because their money is less than ours, and we're going over there with $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 in American and buying up land over there and doing that stuff, we're taking advantage of them. Everybody, and that taking advantage stuff has to end. Because this is it's flaring its head again, blacks and immigrant blacks. And they don't respect us. Because I have to get respect from them the same way I have to get respect from white folks. I have to open my mouth and prove I'm a human being to them. It's just the way it is. By 1891, the library was sovereign enough to be able to purchase the old edifice of the First Baptist Church, which was located on the corner of what is now Main and Casina. Upon her death in 1905, Miss Shaw bequeathed $1,000, equal to approximately $29,500 in today's dollars, to the Flushing Free Library. Ultimately, her bequest established the Shaw Reference Collection in the Flushing Library, where her photograph hung for many years. Upon her death in 1905, Miss Shaw bequeathed $1,000, equal to approximately, in honor of Miss Shaw and her contribution to the Queens Public Library at Flushing, her picture was hung in the new Flushing Library with her story. In addition, twice per year, Queens Public Library will present a public program dedicated to Miss Shaw. The purpose of the Mary E. Shaw program series is to keep the spirit of Miss Shaw and her contributions to the Queens Public Library and education of the Queens community alive for generations to come. Each program will remind Queens residents of her good works and the importance of African American people to the history of Queens and the Queens Public Library. A program series dedicated to her memory and is a vibrant, continuous reminder of Miss Shaw and a constant reminder to all residents of her accomplishments. And that was just a little pamphlet that we had in the library. The next one I'm going to read Sunday, it's longer, but this one will probably be behind a paywall, so many of y'all probably won't see it because I don't have any patrons, so that's going to be longer, more pages. But you can look up this person, find the same information. The Augusta Baker collection. So that's what I'm going to read on Sunday. Until then, take care of yourselves and as always, be safe.